Family, hope you're all doing well. Hope your quarantine's going nice. Kind of wanted to bounce some ideas off you. There's this new movement called the Childless and Proud movement, right? And they don't want to have kids because they say, climate change, pollution, and deforestation. And I kind of wanted to talk to you about it and see what you think. Because I understand that some people think that the world is too populated and that you can't fit any more people, but the earth is quite big and people pass away every day. And that's not really an excuse in my mind. And they argue about resources. Well, we don't have enough food. We do have food, it's just that people don't have the money to buy the food. And corporate greed, they'll just toss the food out. If you really want to get people food, you can work with sustainable agricultural places like in the livestock industry and support them and shout them out. The people who raise their chickens right, where it feeds the soil and it's a cycle and it's all together in this wonderful ecosystem. And you yourself don't buy factory farm food and you call out companies which are factory farmed and you don't make the mistake of shaming meat eaters. Instead, you give your like hoorah to those who do livestock the right way. The other thing is there's a lot of restaurants who have a lot of food and they throw it out. I've worked in the culinary industry. You would be amazed by how much food and like good stuff that they rather throw away than even give to their employees. If you want to start with some change, get the restaurants, the culinary world on board to donate their food. A lot of greedy chefs, general managers, and presidents of those corporate companies, and even the small mom and pop ones, they prefer to dump it in the compost garbage than to give it away for free. To them, they see giving things away as a loss. And it's very odd. It's very strange behavior. I've never seen a restaurant ever that has donated food. So that says a lot. And I'm talking in the Bay Area where all the progressives are who, say they care, but that's one area they could fix it. So it's interesting. We have like dumpster divers are another group of people who go behind stores and dig in the dumpsters to see what stores have thrown out that are like a couple days away from being expired or have been expired, but they are able to still consume it. So that's one solution you can do. Okay. You can also work with urban gardens to get people to grow more. And you can also work with your cities to get the richer areas to not just have useless grass in their lawns, to, have a vegetable garden. But some neighborhoods, they're so fancy, rich, and useless, they make rules to what kinds of things you can put in your front yard because they want it to look nice for the real estate market. You see, we could make a lot of food, but we don't. We want to give up our ability to do it and then hire, abusively, migrant workers who don't make enough of anything to grow our food for us and sell it for super cheap, right? Now, it's interesting how, you know, people are trying to make it seem like kids are this really huge burden that's going to end the world. Oh, they cause a lot of population. A lot of pollution and inflate the population too much. And it's like, you don't think that looking at this little kid that they could create something in the future that'll help us be more effective at recycling, or we'll find another way to utilize plastics or create a biodegradable plastic made out of hemp or some other material. These things can be done, but the corporate lobbyists who have high shares in the other companies are able to more effectively lobby, you know, the Capitol Hill, as they say, so that those certain companies don't get as strong of a foothold. You have to examine that too. And if we started buying from farmers market and supporting local communities, that would work a lot better too. Because a local dude, he's probably going to be more happy to be like, hey, I got some strawberries I didn't sell. Do you want some? Or I'll give you like half off. But Safeway, Whole Foods, the price is the price. And they're usually so corporate and so, global agriculture powerhouses that their workers are not treated with anything good, right? So it's quite different. But I think it's very dangerous. You shouldn't shame women into having children. That's true. You should not. They have to do it how they want to do it, right? But I think it's a mistake to encourage women not to have children as if it's something glorious. Because what does a relationship mean? You're gonna get bored of the same guy. Okay, imagine you're 25. You're with some dude. You're sleeping with him. You go out to eat every night. He knows you've told him, I'm not gonna have children with you. So if he knows it's not a long-term investment here, and he can tell you, I don't want kids either, baby. I don't want it. And you're like, yes, I don't want it. Like, kids are gross. Like, ew. And you think that you're going to be young and hot forever, and you're always going to have this male attention on you, right? So you neglect using your healthful prime to have children, and instead kind of just shopping, traveling, career, all things that have a dead path. Let me tell you why. The dude you're with, he might find a girl who maybe doesn't want all you want. Maybe she's not a gold digger. Maybe she's not materialistic. Maybe she's more mentally stable and not so freaky and a little bit weird, and you know, she's more homely. I don't know. And he sees her and he goes with her, and then he gets her pregnant, within like 2 months. And then you're wasted some years with him. Now you got to find a new relationship, start over. And then you're just jumping in different beds trying to find a guy who wants to be with you and stick to the plan of not having children, right? And let's say you get to be 35, right? Your prime is over, really. I mean, you can get a lot of plastic surgery and go into medical debt and, inject all kind of chemicals into your body and let doctors slice you up like a honey ham to try to preserve what your body is gonna, hold up with. But the thing is, at that certain point, the younger girls are gonna take the attention away from you. It's kind of just a biological thing. Men can, as we've seen in our culture, they can be 50, get a 25-year-old. But when a woman's 50, it's very hard for her to be a cougar. And cougar women, when they get a young playboy, he's not exactly there for the love. He's there for the money and the food and the networking. So it's not really there for love. So you have to wonder too, if you get into your 40s, you're going to start aging, okay? And if you have to depend on a caregiver nurse to take care of you, she's not exactly that motivated for you, right? She's not going to love you and take care of you all that good. And there's a lot of abuse that happens in the old folks' home. Just look up undercover cameras of abuse of elderly people, and you'll realize why it's a better bet to be with your family when you're old than being taken care of by strangers, right? And when you're old and you're not hot and no one wants you around, no one wants to have sex with you, your tits are sagging, you're just not hot anymore, and who is going to visit you? And they say, oh, well, I don't visit my grandma, therefore my kids won't visit me. That's not true. And it's, what is life going to be about, really? Because you could lose your job. Your job doesn't matter. You're replaceable. Oh, you got me good, numbers this quarter? Okay. All right. They're not going to remember you at all. You don't matter. You're just, okay, you're on the payroll. You're doing your thing. They smile at you. They tell you what you want to hear so you can go be a lapdog and make them some money. Okay? And there's solutions to the climate problem, right? The pollution problem. That can be solved. Agricultural issues can be solved. So what is it really that you don't want the responsibility of the kids? Is because you don't want to change your life because you like being out and about. And that says more about you than it does about the kid, Don't put your issues and your insecurities onto a child. The child is the child. And honestly, when you're old, like when you're 70, your own genetic bloodline via grandchildren are going to be playing around you, talking to you, coloring you pictures. You can go to their plays. You're old, you're retired, you got nothing to do. No one wants to bang you. And it's like, who's going to read to you? You can read to them. There's so much wisdom, too, that you can give your kids when they're older. Like, you can help them not make the same mistakes and change the future. Be that wise elder, Grandma. But are you really going to, be happy in an old folks' home when you die, your kids aren't going to get your inheritance, all your stuff's going to be given away to strangers, which is fine. Some people donate all that, but it's very cool. No one's going to be there to put flowers on your grave. Your friends don't really, they care, but they're not going to care like that, right? Especially if you die in another state. They're not going to drive to go see you, right? And I know some kids don't go to their family's graves, but still, who's going to pay for it too? Right? Oh, my husband. He could get remarried and you're like, okay, she's out. it's like children create a type of bond. And yeah, there's a lot of single parents, no doubt. But the bond with the child is like eternal. And unless you're really bad of a parent, that kid will stay. If you're bad and you're horrible, that kid will go. But treat them right, God willing, they'll probably stay around. And it's schools like the only hard part about being a parent for me is the looks you get from women who haven't had children, right? I think you can have it all. You can have a good job and be a mom and be with your kids. You just gotta be willing to grind for it, right? I feel like a lot of people hide behind not having kids as like, oh, well, I just don't have the time. And I think if more women in power had children, it'd be easier for women to get more benefits at work. Flexible schedules, discounts in childcare, you know, something like that would be better. But the problem is when we get women in power who are cold, stone cold witches who care just about their job and money, and then you're a mom and you're like, hey, I need some time off to go to my kid's play. They're like, eh. It's like just some cold witch whose vagina is dried up and has no one to really soften her heart and her age. And she's getting plastic surgery and it's like, I don't know. It's a dark road for me, I think. And I get it. Some people are immature, so they shouldn't have kids for till they get mature. But do you want to roll that dice? It seems like a bigger gamble to me. And it's like you may think you don't have the yearning because you have your hair is nice, you got a nice dress on, you got some expensive shoes, your nails are done, your lipstick's on the fly, right? You got a good car, but all that stuff could go away. And like let's say with this virus, if you're with your family passing this plague over, it's a lot more enjoyable than being alone and watching, strangers live their lives. And your dog, I'm a big animal lover, but your dog, if you die, he's going to eat you. Your cat, too. They have a certain consciousness. It's like, they'll help you survive, right? If you're out in the wilderness, like, they'll help you, they'll find you. Dogs that go to rescue you, you're drowning, they'll save you. They'll protect your property. No doubt they're our best friends, but they're not our like biological children. You can love them like they're your children and they are a part of the family. I cry when my pets die. But it's like there is something like of a miracle when you go through the birthing pain, you survive, you withstood all that pain, and now there's a little being that has your eyeballs looking back at you and they grow every day and they can talk to you and you're like, wow. And your breasts make milk and you're like, this is amazing. And then you see your own traits in your kid manifested right in front of you and you're like, this is better than, the most exotic cat. This is better than the most exotic bird, right? This is what else is life. And I know that sounds so cliche, but the clothes are not going to replace that, And it's hard to be a mom, but I mean, so is it not hard to be a head honcho in a company? To constantly be screaming at your boss and paranoid about your data, your numbers, how you're performing? It just seems like the holidays are, even if you're not, I guess that won't work for people who don't celebrate those holidays, but the holidays are literally the most fun because of kids. Easter, you got the little eggs around, the kids is running, they're looking for the eggs, they got chocolate bunnies, that's a whole pagan festival, true, but it's a fertility festival because rabbits and chickens breed really fast. So, and it's about Ishtar. I get it, and Jesus and them, it all got mixed up. But either way, it's celebrating fertility, which I think is good. I think it's good to celebrate fertility and to appreciate being able to create life. And in Christmas time, it's a capitalistic, materialist holiday. But the traditional roots of it are, Odin and the tree and the pagan tree, and then like the winter equinox or whatever. There's a lot of paganism in it. I get it. And that Jesus was actually born in the summer. He wasn't born in the winter. I get it. But the point is that like when you have this like one little gift for your kid, and it could be like one thing you could afford, and the tree, they have fun decorating the tree, little holidays, right? You name the holiday. It could be, there's holidays out there that I don't even know exist, but holidays in general. Kids get so excited and it's so cute. And if you're an adult, like Disney World was meant for kids, but you got 30-year-old women with no kids going to Disneyland pretending to live their nostalgia years. That's more creepy to me than a woman with 2 kids who's taking her kids to Disneyland instead of girls half naked taking selfies by the teacup rides, right? I just like, for example, I'm a little bit biased too because my stepmom, the first one, she didn't want to have kids, and my dad told her like, "That's okay. I'll be with you, baby. I won't have. I'll won't have kids." He stayed with her. Sad to say, he cheated on her a bunch, and then as soon as they broke up after their years of cheating and tumultuous relationship, he got a woman pregnant very soon, and then had what is it? 3 more children. 3 more children, and right away, it did not wait that long. And it's like, and now she's just a drunk, lonely alcoholic with no children. And, she was a stripper. And it's like, now what do you have? It's a little sad to me because now she's just an old ex stripper alcoholic with no children. And she always used to say, I don't want to have children because this world is so evil and cruel. But it's like, you can make the world as best you can for your kid. And how many children in history suffered who became great? See, I feel like we are afraid to suffer, and then we think our kids, will just turn into worms and just fade away. A little bit of suffering is good for us. Creates stronger citizens of the planet, right? So I would urge you, before you think it's trendy and cool to not have kids, really examine what is the point of your life without children. And think about, does the company you work for really care about you? It's an abstract organization. They could close, go bankrupt, you don't matter. Your achievements will be forgotten within a year. They'll forget about you as soon as you leave. People in the office might talk about you for a month, and then after that, you're gone. Regardless of how often they tell you good morning and hello and what'd you do this weekend. And pollution will get fixed. I have high faith in that. We will put the pressure to the fossil fuel companies, and every day new technologies are getting created. So, it's fun to be nihilistic, but there is some optimism in the pollution market. And just understand you're not going to be hot and young forever, and it's going to be a hard road when you're just wandering the streets, going to spend more money to buy clothes to fill the void, and you're not going to have any giggles in your home. And it's funny when kids make messes. Yeah, they make messes, and it's annoying to clean up. But observe your kids, be with them, create memories, because when you're old in your bed and you can't walk and you're pooping in your bed in your diaper, because some people get a diaper when they're old, and your teeth are all gone, and there's a nurse who smells like cigarettes taking care of you, and you're looking out the window, eating your pudding cup and depressed, and some news is just on the screen, and you're in your little room and no one's brought you anything. Imagine what that would have been like if, your grandkids could at least visit you, have some colory little things they made on the wall, their little spaghetti necklaces with the little pasta necklaces that they make, the Fruit Loop necklaces, and all the funny little things kids do, and the funny jokes they tell that make no sense. Think about that. I mean, it's a huge trade-off, but don't get arrogant in your body right now. Like, everything's perky, everything's hot, I don't need men. And it's like, maybe you don't want to have, I think you just haven't found the right guy, because there's guys who you get with them, and you crave their babies. You crave having a child with them. You're like, I want this man's eggs in my body. That's how you know you got a good man, is if you crave their baby. So if you're with a soy boy, a guy who he's not stimulating you in that way, maybe that says more about you and the type of men you pick than about not having children. Because there's a lot of men out there who give down the smackdown, and you'll be wanting their children. That's just the aura and the energy of their masculine, healthy energy that exudes out, right? And ask yourself if it's worth the trade-off. And saying you won't have kids so that the politicians do something on the climate is not going to work. They don't care if you don't have kids. You don't even exist to them. They're letting homeless people die in the street. You think they give a crap about you not having kids? What they'll literally do is just open the border, let all the illegal immigrants in, and all those illegal immigrants are from countries where they value children, and they'll just take over your population. They'll just take over your race, which is fine. Who cares? I have a mixed race family, so I don't care. Races always change, right? And that's just how life works. But don't think that you're not having children activism is going to affect really anything. It's only going to affect you when you get old and you're lonely and there's no one there to protect you. And imagine another virus apocalypse happens. Who's going to bring you food and care about you? You're going to depend on strangers instead of your own family. Think about it.